Hello everyone, my name is James Bold, lead news anchor and reporter for First Coast Weather and News. Today, we will be discussing what could potentially lead to a rainy and windy weekend on our First Coast. As of right now, we are tracking Tropical Depression 13, which will likely soon become Tropical Storm Mindy. The National Hurricane Center is currently predicting Mindy will make landfall along the eastern First Coast, likely in coastal Duval or St. Johns counties. Right now, Mindy is expected to reach a peak wind strength of 80 miles per hour sustained, with some wind gusts reaching upwards of 90 miles per hour. Impacts on the First Coast will likely start late Thursday evening into Friday morning, lasting throughout most of the day. Residents can expect high winds, torrential rain, and storm surge in coastal areas to all pose a threat to their lives and property. In addition to those conditions, tornadoes may be possible throughout the duration of the storm. Voluntary evacuation orders have been put into effect for the extreme coastal areas of Nassau, Duval, St. Johns, Flagler, Camden, and Glynn counties. While residents do not have to leave, it is advised that they evacuate temporarily due to potentially high storm surge and beach erosion that will occur in coastal areas. As per usual, many Florida residents do not seem to be all that concerned regarding Mindy. Many see this as just another run-of-the-mill hurricane. But some experts at the National Hurricane Center warn residents that conditions could rapidly change with little notice. A trend in the past few hurricane seasons is that hurricanes have become more likely to rapidly intensify before hitting land. Rapid intensification is defined by the National Hurricane Center as a hurricane that undergoes a major burst in strength, marked by an increase of 35 miles per hour or more within 24 hours. The Atlantic Ocean has been warmer than average, which could make Mindy more likely to intensify before landfall. Residents are being advised to keep a close eye on Mindy and be vigilant for any rapidly changing conditions or changes to the forecast. For our next story, discussing what you need to stay safe during this dangerous hurricane season.
This is an administrative message relayed by the Florida state government through the emergency alert system. There is no emergency. If there was one, instructions would follow after the tones. Please stand by as the governor of Florida relays this important message.
Hello there, everyone. This is the state governor of Florida, Nicholas Hunter. Due to the potential storm over the Atlantic, I will be enacting a policy that will keep us safe from the potential danger. All beaches within the First Coast area of our state will be shut down from the public until further notice. I also encourage that you and your family calmly gather supplies over the next few days to keep your family stocked in case the unfortunate happens. It's better to be prepared for the worst rather than being caught with nothing. I also recommend making plans with any friends or family inland in case an evacuation order is administered. While we don't know what this storm will do, or if it will even hit our area, what we do know is that we need to expect the unexpected. If this hurricane season and the ones in the past have taught us anything, it's that these storms are getting worse, and we should no longer underestimate them. With that, I wish you and your families good luck. Stay safe out there, Florida, and may God be with you all.
This has been an administrative message, issued at the request of the governor of Florida. This concludes the use of the emergency alert system. Thank you for your time. This message is being broadcasted at the request of the National Weather Service in Jacksonville, Florida. A hurricane watch has been issued for the following counties: Nassau, Duval, St. Johns, Clay, Putnam, Baker, Bradford, Flagler, Volusia, Lake, and Marion, in Florida, and Ware, Charlton, Camden, Glynn, and Bradley counties in Georgia, until 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on September 11, 2021. At approximately 7:30 a.m. this morning, Tropical storm Mindy was located around 350 miles to the east from Jacksonville, Florida. This storm is predicted to strengthen into a hurricane within the next couple of days. This storm is currently on track to hit the first coast region of Florida, but it isn't confirmed at this time. People within the affected area should be prepared to hunker down for the storm, or even possibly evacuate if it is deemed necessary. This storm is still developing, so people within the affected areas are recommended to listen in on local news media or their NOAA weather radios for more information and future updates on this event. To repeat, the National Weather Service in Jacksonville, Florida has issued a hurricane watch for the following counties: Nassau, Duval, St. Johns, Clay, Putnam, Baker, Bradford, Flagler, Volusia, Lake, and Marion, in Florida, and Ware, Charlton, Camden, Glenn, and Bradley counties in Georgia, until 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on September 11, 2021.
Hello everyone, my name is James Bold, lead news anchor and reporter for First Coast Weather and News. Today, we will be providing new information on what is now Hurricane Mindy. Current statistics from the National Hurricane Center indicate that Mindy is now a Category 1 hurricane, with wind speeds at around 85 miles per hour. Mindy is now located around 200 miles to the east-southeast of Jacksonville, Florida. Mindy has seemed to slow down in terms of movement speed over the past 12 hours or so. As of the last update, Mindy was reported to be moving west at around 8 miles per hour. This could spell trouble for numerous reasons. For one, a slower movement speed could give the storm more time to develop and intensify over the warm Atlantic waters. Secondly, a slower moving storm could cause flooding to become more intense, due to the slower movement of the storm, allowing more time for rainwater to pool on the ground and in our waterways. So, how do Floridians feel about this new information, and about Mindy in general? Today, we have asked a local Floridian to talk with us about their feelings regarding this storm. Joining us now is local Jacksonville resident, Lucas Benjamin. So Lucas, how do you feel regarding Hurricane Mindy?
I'm not really all that concerned. We've been living in Florida for quite a few years now, and most storms don't really affect this area all that bad. We lived through Matthew and Irma and Dorian, all three of which had very little effect on us.
Do you live in an area that is prone to flood damage?
Not really. We live near Clay Hill, which is a relatively rural area of the First Coast. Really, our biggest concern there is for falling trees from the high winds.
Mindy is currently being forecast to intensify as it gets closer to the coastline. Are you worried that winds could become strong enough where that could be an issue?
Again, I can't really say me or my family's all that worried. Usually these storms lose their steam as they move closer inland, and I assume this storm will be no different.
Well, Lucas, we appreciate your time and input regarding this situation. Even though you are not that concerned, you should still remain vigilant for any rapidly changing conditions once the storm makes landfall.
Will do, James. You stay safe out there.
Well, there you have it, folks. A Florida resident that doesn't seem all that concerned with a hurricane coming. While that is relatively typical behavior for Floridians because of the high frequency of storms in the area, you should still be prepared in case of an emergency. Speaking of which, on to our next story. What are local businesses doing to prepare for Hurricane Mindy? We will be talking with local business owners to discuss their plans and what they expect from the hurricane.
This message is being broadcast at the request of the National Weather Service office in Jacksonville, Florida. A hurricane warning has been issued for the following counties: Nassau, Duval, St. Johns, Clay, Putnam, Baker, Bradford, Union, Alachua, Flagler, Volusia, and Marion, in Florida, and Ware, Charlton, Camden, Glenn, and Bradley counties in Georgia, until 6 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on September 12, 2021. At approximately 8:45 p.m. local time, Hurricane Mindy was reported to be around 135 miles east of Villano Beach, Florida. At this time, Mindy has been upgraded to a Category 2 hurricane, with winds reaching around 105 miles per hour. Hurricane Mindy is forecast to make landfall somewhere in St. Johns County tomorrow evening. From there, the storm is forecast to take a northwesterly turn as it works its way inland through the first coast of Florida, and later into Georgia. Mindy still has the potential to intensify further due to warm waters in the Atlantic Ocean. Mindy is currently forecast to make landfall as a low-end Category 3 hurricane. Primary threats include, but are not limited to, torrential rainfall, isolated tornadoes, heavy storm surge along waterways, and strong, life-threatening winds. Residents are being advised to ensure they have a proper supply of food, water, medications, and any other essential supplies for the following 14 days. This is to ensure that citizens can survive in case there are long-term power outages in the area, which is expected. Ensure all electronic devices are fully charged before the storm makes landfall. If possible, make sure you have a battery-powered or hand-cranked radio in order to keep up to date on information from the National Weather Service and the National Hurricane Center. This message is being broadcast at the request of the Florida state government. This is a local access alert message for the following counties: Nassau, Duval, St. Johns, Clay, Putnam, Baker, Union, Bradford, Alachua, Flagler, Volusia, and Marion, in Florida, until further notice. This alert is being issued for the people within these areas to warn them not to hoard supplies from others. Due to Hurricane Mindy coming to the First Coast area, a lot of stores have been running low on supplies over the past couple of days. It is recommended that when you go shopping for supplies, you only buy what you and your family need, and keep supplies open for other families. Stores within the affected areas will also be limiting the sale on specific items such as food, water, gasoline, medications, and non-essential supplies. This is so people can have a fair chance of gathering the necessary supplies they need to survive, and it will be distributed based on how many members are within your family. It is not known how long these limitations will be set in place, but it can safely be assumed they will be lifted once the storm is over. However, at this time, please be patient and courteous to others. This disaster will affect us all in the same way. Make sure to stay up to date on this current situation through your local news media or NOAA weather radio. To repeat, this message is being broadcast at the request of the Florida state government. This is a local access alert message for the following counties: Nassau, Duval, St. Johns, Clay, Putnam, Baker, Bradford, Flagler, Volusia, Lake, and Marion, in Florida, until further notice. This message is being broadcast at the request of the National Weather Service in Jacksonville, Florida. A storm surge warning has been issued for the following counties: Nassau, Duval, St. Johns, Flagler, Volusia, in Florida, and Glenn, and Camden, in Georgia, until 6 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on September 11, 2021. A storm surge is a rise in sea level when a hurricane hits a coastal area. Storm surges are very dangerous as they can lead to severe flooding. Some areas are expected to get up to 12 feet of water. It is recommended that if you are in the affected areas, you should either evacuate or prepare your home for flood waters. You should also stay away from flooded areas at all costs, as things such as downed power lines, floating debris, vehicles, and chemicals such as gasoline. If you are driving and you encounter a flooded road, whatever you do not drive into it if you don't think your car can handle it. Turn around, don't drown. Make sure to stay up to date on this current situation through your local news media or a NOAA weather radio. To repeat, this message is being broadcast at the request of the National Weather Service in Jacksonville, Florida. A storm surge warning has been issued for the following counties: Nassau, Duval, St. Johns, Flagler, Volusia, in Florida, and Glenn, and Camden, in Georgia, until 6 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on September 11, 2021. This message is being broadcast at the request of the National Weather Service office in Jacksonville, Florida. An extreme wind warning has been issued for the counties of St. Johns and Flagler until 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 6:45 p.m. local time, NOAA hurricane reconnaissance aircraft and maritime observations indicated extreme winds associated with the eye wall of Hurricane Mindy, which will continue to move onshore within the incoming hours. Sustained winds exceeding 115 miles per hour are expected within the warned area. Wind gusts upwards of 140 miles per hour are also possible. Locations impacted include, but are not limited to, St. Augustine Beach, Palm Coast, Villano Beach, Flagler Beach, and Nocatee. This is an extremely dangerous and life-threatening situation. Expect sustained winds in excess of 115 miles per hour, with occasional gusts reaching over 140 miles per hour to occur over the next several hours. Winds of this magnitude can cause widespread swaths of tornado-like damage. Remain indoors, and stay from windows. Do not attempt to observe this event, as doing so will likely put your life in extreme danger. Stay tuned to local news media for more information and future updates on this event. Repeating, the National Weather Service office in Jacksonville, Florida, has issued an extreme wind warning for the counties of St. Johns and Flagler until 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This message is being broadcast at the request of the National Weather Service office in Jacksonville, Florida. A flash flood warning has been issued for the following counties: St. Johns, Flagler, Clay, and Putnam, in Florida until 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Due to large amounts of rainfall from Hurricane Mindy and poor drainage systems, especially within the city of St. Augustine, Florida, flood waters have begun to rise above dangerous levels. Currently, the safest thing to do is to stay in your homes and not go outside for any reason. If you must go outside, make sure to avoid flooded areas, as this water may be moving very fast. You should also avoid flooded roads if at all possible, as the water may be deeper than you think. If you don't think your car can handle the water, then find an alternative route, turn around. Don't drown. Make sure you stay up to date on this current situation by either tuning in to local news media or a hand-powered NOAA weather radio. To repeat, this message is being broadcast at the request of the National Weather Service in Jacksonville, Florida. A flash flood warning has been issued for the following counties: St. Johns, Flagler, Clay, and Putnam, in Florida until 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This message is being broadcast at the request of the National Weather Service office in Jacksonville, Florida. A tornado warning has been issued for Clay and Duval counties, Florida, until 3:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 2:23 p.m. local time, National Weather Service Doppler radar indicated heavy rotation associated with an embedded thunderstorm of Hurricane Mindy. Trained weather spotters did confirm that there was a funnel reaching the ground. This is a particularly dangerous situation. This rotating thunderstorm was located over Orange Park, moving northward at 25 miles per hour. Locations impacted include, but are not limited to, Orange Park, Bel Air Meadowbrook Terrace, the Jacksonville Naval Air Station, Jacksonville, Argyle Forest, Duckley, and Ortega. Loose debris will likely become dangerous aerial projectiles, which will pose a serious threat to your life and property. Remain indoors for the duration of this event, and do not attempt to view the tornado. Doing so will put your life in serious harm. Stay tuned to local news media for more information and future updates on this event. Repeating, a tornado warning has been issued for Clay and Duval counties, Florida, until 3:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This message is being broadcast at the request of civil authorities within the First Coast region of Florida and Georgia. A shelter-in-place order has been issued for the counties of Nassau, Duval, St. Johns, Clay, Putnam, Baker, Union, Bradford, Alachua, Flagler, Volusia, and Marion, in Florida, and Ware, Charlton, Camden, Glynn, and Bradley counties in Georgia, until 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on September 15, 2021. Due to widespread damage from Hurricane Mindy, residents are being urged to remain indoors until cleanup crews can take care of multiple present dangers around the area. These dangers include, but are not limited to, downed power lines, floodwaters on roads and low-lying areas, downed trees, and general debris on the roadways and around the area. Emergency management agencies for both Florida and Georgia are working to start clearing paths and generally trying to clean up the debris from Hurricane Mindy. You should only go outdoors in the case of an absolute emergency. Downed power lines can still be producing electricity and can potentially shock you from dozens of feet away. Major swaths of debris have made most roads in the area untravelable. This shelter-in-place order will remain in effect until Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., where it will be decided from there if more time is needed to clean up the area. Stay tuned to local media for more information and future updates on this event. This message is being broadcast at the request of the Florida state government. A power outage emergency has been issued for the following counties: Nassau, Duval, St. Johns, Clay, Putnam, Baker, Union, Bradford, Alachua, Flagler, Volusia, and Marion, in Florida, until further notice. Due to the damage caused by Hurricane Mindy along the First Coast region, all power and communication services have been damaged and will most likely take weeks to fully repair. Due to this, many places may be without power for a long period of time. It is recommended that you try and find a generator to power all appliances within your house for the time being until power is restored to your area. Also, emergency services may be harder to reach due to downed communications and cell towers. Make sure you stay up to date on this current situation via NOAA weather radio broadcasts or subsequent hand-cranked or battery-powered radios. To repeat, this message is being broadcast at the request of the Florida state government. A power outage emergency has been issued for the following counties: Nassau, Duval, St. Johns, Clay, Putnam, Baker, Bradford, Flagler, Volusia, Lake, and Marion, in Florida, until further notice.
Hello everyone, my name is James Bold, lead news anchor and reporter for First Coast Weather and News. Today, we will be discussing the aftermath of Hurricane Mindy and discussing what this storm could potentially teach us about future hurricanes. To start, major damage has been reported all throughout the First Coast. From as far south as Palm Coast to as far north as Brunswick, a large majority of the First Coast saw hurricane-force winds from Mindy. Even counties further to the west still experienced tropical storm-force winds, which caused damage, albeit less of it. An EF2 tornado was also reported on the southwestern side of Jacksonville, leading to multiple injuries, and even one death from a collapsed building. Along the beaches, major beach erosion occurred due to a combination of high winds and storm surge. This erosion will likely make the beaches unusable for weeks to come on both the coast and inland waterways, such as the St. Johns River and Black Creek. Flooding also occurred from a combination of torrential rain and storm surge. Areas along the Black Creek River were some of the harder-hit inland communities, which was the same communities that suffered major damage just 4 years ago from Hurricane Irma. So now that we have covered the major impacts on our First Coast, what has Mindy taught us? Well, the First Coast region of Florida has been relatively spared when it comes to hurricanes in recent years. Hurricane Matthew in 2016 skimmed the coast, causing much less damage than one would think from a hurricane passing so close. The same can be said for Hurricane Dorian and Isaias in 2020. Even Hurricane Irma, which did cause considerable damage in some areas of the First Coast, was relatively minor compared to the Category 4 landfall it had in South Florida in 2017. Due to the natural geography of the region, hurricanes typically curve away from this side of the state, along with most of the eastern seaboard, before they make landfall. In fact, the last time a large hurricane made landfall on the First Coast specifically was all the way back in 1964 with Hurricane Dora. Due to rising ocean temperatures from global warming, along with shifting atmospheric patterns, hurricanes will likely become more frequent, and even more intense at times. Residents that once lived in areas relatively unbothered by hurricanes may not be able to live that same luxury anymore. We've already seen it over the past handful of years with devastating hurricanes hitting one after another in the United States. But for now, the best we can do is stay prepared, and ensure you are ready before the next storm comes. This has been James Bold with First Coast Weather and News. Thank you for your time, and have a good rest of your day.